One thing is that you know about me is that I work with human design systems. And everything we do is being restructured, is being reshifted. So that is one thing that happened to me. I started seeing human design system from a completely different perspective. It's just totally blew my mind how same things I studied forever, suddenly I started seeing in a very, very, very different way. So that is one thing. Another thing is that what's happening here? Another thing is that also relationships started changing a lot. Space started changing a lot, and myself. So in this life, I want to talk about this shift, about my work with the system, about what I'm going through in the relationship, and about my own process that can shock you. It can really, really shock you. And I'm telling you, knowing that you are the one, I imagine, who's been there, done that, seen around, but some of the things are not that rarely or not that often exposed. They're rarely exposed, and that's basically what my process is. So what shall I start with? What shall I start with? Let me start with human design process, because this my job. My job is to deliver human design system as it's been taught by Ra Uru Hu from 1987. And since those days, from those times, it's been a very clear, of course, the system has been developing and the way we do analysis has been developing, but the body graph is the body graph. It's unchangeable. It's perfect the way it is, or so we think. And the work with this system, because I'm also very collective, very communal being, also made me kind of connect with other people, with other teachers. And quite fast after my first cycle, I started in 2014. In 2019, I got invitation to be part of the festival. I couldn't do it. I was on the other side of the world. From 2020, I started creating human design events. It's been in the form of the marathon, it's been in the form of the festival, and now it's in the form of the gathering. So I'm quite evolving here. Yeah, now I'm talking about the form. Then I will go into the essence of human design and how I actually see the shift I see in the way the system is taught and the bugs there. Yeah. So in terms of the connection, yeah, with a bigger field, I see how much it is changing. If in the beginning of my career, it's been all about teaching and showing and theory, and let's remember the gates, and let's remember the nuances. Where is your line in the Mars and all of this? How come you don't remember? Yeah, all of this is kind of fading away, and we're getting into the source. We're getting into the very much essence of this knowledge. Now, the essence is about living. The system is given to us so we can learn to filter the reality as it is and not as we want it to be. Human design teaches us to filter this reality properly. It is also very clearly said that this system is given to the not self, to our distorted being. None of us here, or pretty much none of us here, have ever touched this true self. Otherwise, we wouldn't want to play those games we're all playing, myself included. And recognizing of your not self is the beginning of the journey, is the beginning of what is actually called the true mutation, the true transformation. So for me, I'm a projector. My type is a projector. So for me, knowing myself is through other people. So obviously, life invites me into collaboration, into relationships where I can know myself through other people. And each event I've been creating, and of course, there are many other things that's happening, but I'm talking specifically about human design world, have been mind-blowingly teaching. Because in the beginning, I treated all the teachers like gods. Who am I? I'm still new. I'm just one cycle. Look at those. There are 2 cycles, 3 cycles, all these big teachers. I have to go down to them. And what I'm discovering is a completely different story. Is that most of the teachers carry so much pain, so much trauma, and so much vulnerability and sensibility. And they are just normal people like myself, like all of us. So the question is then, like, how do we step into the space where we can teach other people from the place that is an example, that is this true self, and not through the trauma? And this is the question that I do have an answer for myself, but I don't have an answer for you, but I will share with you my answer because it's very, very important for me. That's why I'm sitting here and sharing it with you, because I want to share the true answer, that I discovered for myself. That can shock you, of course, but it is my truth. So what happens is that every year I worked with different partners and different collaborations. And obviously, when you do something, there are tons of glitches, tons of situations happening, and there's always something that goes wrong. Obviously, I'm a third line. It's okay when things go wrong. That's how we teach. That's the experience. But the last situation that happened really shook me to the core. Yeah, because what happened is we had a huge meeting with all the teachers in the event. There were like, I don't remember, like 11 or 12 of us. And there was a meeting. Meeting went, and then next day, one of the teachers tells, I responded not to participate. And that's it. No explanation, no nothing. And then a couple days later, somebody sends me the video live that he did, just like I'm doing right now, telling that he's been, what's the word, disrespected and bulldozed, and all of it is fucked up, and everything we do is not clean. And, we as a team tried to reach out, and he blocked us. And then we made a meeting with teachers because it's a serious thing, right? And we invited him to talk to us, and he didn't agree to talk. And I'm left with this. Yeah, of course, we know human design. We know that open emotional center is avoiding confrontation. And I don't know how many years this teacher in the human design, but obviously he didn't internalize, this mantra that is so important. And I went through waves of every emotion possible with just discovering a simple thing, that this person talks from his pain. He's in pain. I don't know what kind of pain he has. It's none of my business. But I know that he goes through something really, really deeply traumatic. Because if you're approaching life from the true self, and if you feel you're disrespected and bulldozed and you're not in the clean space, you share. You share. And there was no sharing. So how are we supposed to communicate as people, because when you are in your power, you are in your power, and you're transmitting your power as you are, whatever or whoever you are. and you are not looking left and right, and you're not looking back. But what that person did, they went online and basically accused that, not thinking, not telling the whole story, not telling the whole story. So people, of course, start projecting, start writing to us, and I mean, we're creating an incredible event. I have uh, 5 years of experience with creating spaces for people that are deeply transformative, that are absolutely mutative. And I know exactly what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing because I'm doing it from the self, not from my personality, not from my mind trip, but from the self. That is not me. It is being done through me. And this is so important for me to keep it crystal pure, crystal clean with whatever I am doing. So we had a lot of situations, of course, and we will have situations, of course, but I know for myself and for those around me and my team that everything is done absolutely purely correct. So we are enjoying it, just like that situation. We're learning from that. And this event that I'm creating is so different from everything that's been done before, because it has a really strong vision. All there is these festivals and conferences and whatever, what they do and what I did until this year, same, is we gathered a lot of teachers, told them to do whatever they want under the theme, and they did. And that's been amazing. But we see that this is not enough. I see that this is not enough. And what I'm getting is we want to go deeper. We want to go deeper into the process of living human design. So what we do now is absolutely different. It's bigger than retreat, and it's deeper than just a retreat, just a festival. There is a really strong, specific vision. I made it for myself. I want to go through it. I want to mutate through it with other people. I do a lot of work alone. I'm going to tell you in a moment what I am going through that will knock your mind. Wait. But first, this, that I am questioning. I'm questioning every teacher I work with. Every situation I'm going through, and there is a lot of situations. I had a super mega star human design teachers who are certifying other people to be teachers, closing Zoom in my face just because they couldn't stand my straightforward expression. I'm looking at this and I'm like, avoiding confrontation, dude, this is so simple. Why cannot we just talk and talk and talk until the talk is finished? Because that's how human communication is. You have your truth, I have my truth. It's totally fine that we have a different truth. I respect you, even if you are manipulating me, even if you're lying to me, even if you're stealing my money, all of it happens. But I am here to talk. Can you just share and talk? It is so simple. And when that is not possible, the main foundation of communication, then we cannot build anything on that foundation. So that's been my experience. I'm also not going into details because I have so much more exciting stuff to share about. But that's about my process with human design people. But I also want to share with you the deep stuff. At least it's deep for me. And this is something that literally shifts my perspective. I put myself some notes here so I don't forget everything I want to share with you, because it's a lot. It's really a lot. And me being in the state I am is definitely, I have to reassemble. I have to reassemble the flow, and keep you focused, and not to keep you for too much time here. I want to have it short and to the point. So It goes like this. Some of the things in my experiment showed that they are different from what we are told. And one of them, the first one that I have on my list, is a simple statement of Ra that you are a passenger in the body, that you are a passenger in this body, meaning you are observer. We know that the passenger is the definition that Ra gave to observer, because observer sounds very, first of all, it's a term from different religion and different sect. I like to call, in our sect we call it differently. It's not static. So observer, there is this static element, the static energy in it, and passenger has a movement. Yeah, so in the movement you can kind of get into the core of okay, so I'm observing, but I'm observing from the perspective of the movement because we are moving. So what I'm understanding, not understanding from the mind, but understanding from my experiment through my body, that I'm not an observer. I'm not a passenger. I'm not the observer. I'm not the observed. I'm observation. I'm observation. There is observation. That observer is just a part of it. So I'm not a passenger. I'm a movement itself. I am a movement. And the passenger can just grasp a fraction of it. Friction of it. I like it. I like when things come out from the mouth, not the way they should. And then that's always gold. So that is the thing. You, me, because I'm only talking about my experience now. I don't see myself as the observer. That's the one who observes. I am bigger than the observer. I am the movement itself. I am the observation that goes through it. The observer is just there, sitting, walking, moving. But is it possible to grasp it in every moment? Or there is something within there that sees that whole thing? Because it doesn't see it from outside, it sees it from inside. So it's a very, very interesting thing to question, to ask yourself, to ask myself every time, where am I? Who am I? The famous who am I? And the movement, and movement is creation. So it's all about the creation. So if I am the movement, I am the creation. Can the passenger be a creation? No. The passenger can only observe the creation being happening through the personality. So there is this definition glitch, the way I see it. I wonder what you think about it. Let me know if you want. If you don't, it's okay as well. I'm just here to share. So that is one thing. Another thing is about the structure of the body graph. In certain states, like I am right now, when there is no time, there is just it, and it has everything in it. There is the future, there is a past, all of them are here, and the here is expansive. Time is this quantum construct that has everything in it. So if it has everything in it, how can we split it? But what the body graph does, it clearly splits the time and fixes it in our consciousness. So we are fixed to think in time through the body graph. I don't know if it's clear enough what I'm saying, but I hope you understand. I hope you're with me and you are, by the way, what's happening here? Because I don't see, I cannot actually see all the comments and what's written. It's not written. So I'll just talk. I'll see all of it later. But that's the situation, that literally everything happens all at once, but for some reason we're splitting this thing in the body graph. So in the way we know, yeah, body graph is the chart for the not self, for distorted being. It's not made for an enlightened, multi-layered consciousness that is omnipotent. It's done for the human cage. But if we want to expand in our assemblance point, in our perception of life, we have to go beyond. We have to go beyond the body graph and not just be in this 3 times and bow down and believe it. You understand what I'm saying? Like this is something really crucial. Is that my work with the body graph, and I keep giving readings and I keep using keynotes, and I'm pretty much religious with the keynotes and the body graph. But this thing started bothering me. The more I started changing my frequency and my state of being, the more I started seeing it. So what am I actually doing? I am bringing myself into this 3D matrix even more, instead of having the ultimate goal of connecting to this multidimensional true self that I am. And I'm not going to talk too much about it. I just literally want to kind of pull the strings and see what you have to say. If you're shy, to write, please write to me personally. I would love to hear what is your perspective on that. It is important. In the end, I'm a projector. I do care for what my people think. But that is the view. Another one is about the mantras of the open centers. What I'm seeing more and more, what is mantras? Yeah, mantras are the questions that we use for open centers. So they bring awareness. Like before, I was talking about the instance with a teacher, and I have been saying that they have the open emotional center, so they're avoiding confrontation. And what we teach in human design is that when I have an open center, I keep asking myself a specific question of this open center for the experience of being aware of how it operates. And if, for example, open emotional center has a question, am I avoiding confrontation? It is supposed to support me in seeing that I'm avoiding confrontation and not to avoid confrontation and go into it, through it, especially confrontation with the own truth, confrontation with yourself, and go beyond it. And if I retreat, I'll never be able to see what's there on the other side of confrontation. As we know, confrontation is what brings us to a new level of reality. We have 6 gates of confrontation. We have friction there, and friction gives birth to new creation, gives birth to babies, gives birth to something that has not been here before. And that's why we are here on this planet, to go beyond what was here before. That's the ultimate, to reveal new. And later we will see there is nothing new out there, but there's a lot of new in here. But out there helps us to reveal the new in here, in this duality. But that's another one, and we're gonna get to it as well. So why am I saying that there is a trick here? Because from my experience, I'm noticing that also defined centers need to ask themselves these mantras here and there, myself included, because I've been watching myself avoiding confrontations. And then I ask, wait a second, Julia, why are you avoiding these confrontations? You are defined emotional. You are supposed to be kind of very good in not avoiding them. Maybe it's correct for me. I started sharing with different people, my colleagues mainly, discovering more and more that that is also correct for others. So, and for every center, of course, just emotions is something so much on the surface that we see. So that is about the mantras. Another one is, and it's the biggest probably when we talk generally, is what I'm seeing in the human design world more and more. Actually, not just in human design world, but we're kind of nourishing this self-centeredness. And it's about self, and because people don't understand that the self has nothing to do not with your personality, not with who you think you are, not with who you are, not with your passenger even. It has to do with what is the G center carrying. The self that is way beyond what you think, or you think that you think, or you think that you think that you think that you are. Yeah, how Ra was saying. So before we have discovered that self, we're here to be human, to be simply human. And what each beautiful religion, and there are beautiful things in every religion, are saying is that our essence, no matter who you are, even if you're a manifestor, cannot be fulfilled without other people. And this giving aspect, giving to other people, is something so fundamental. And we're just not going deep enough inside. Now, what is going deep enough inside? When you have a thought, you either act on it or you throw it away and move to the next one. And that happens more and more because we are in this scrolling reality more and more. Now, what I am transmitting is that the mind is a beautiful thing. And the mind can serve you incredible purpose only if you go into the source of the mind, if you make space and time, and when you have a thought that you acknowledge, going into the source of this thought. That's what's called philosophy. It's about developing the thought to the core of it, to the essence of it, because in that essence you find the truth, you find emptiness, you find nothing, you find the fullest nothing there, the nothing that will reveal to you everything. But it is a path. It is a path, and a path that needs two things, actually three: time, space, and desire. If there is no desire, if there is no time and no space that you are making, you'll never get into the essence of who you are. It's just impossible. You know, I had a friend, more than a friend, you know, someone who initiated me actually to human design. So it's a very special person in my life. And they had this weird thing, like every day I heard, I have no time for this. I have no time for this. And she died. She died before she was even 40. And I'm asking myself, did she die because she programmed herself that she has no time? Or maybe she knew she will die, so she was just transmitting it. But I know she didn't know she will die because I knew her for many, many years. So you have time for everything. Remember this. For everything you have time. When you say, I have no time, you're killing yourself right now. You're stealing from yourself. when you say you have no time, what actually happens is you're not interested in it. You have no energy for it that flows through you. It doesn't flow through you for that. Through it for that, which you think is you. You understand? So coming back to open centers, defined centers, and the depths of the thought and the beauty of the mind, I really want to encourage all of us, myself included, to really stay there in that thought, and to get to the core of the being, because this is so, so, so important. That's about that. Now, two more things I have about questioning human design foundations is both have to do with my actual process. First, dream rave. Do you know about the dream rave? Do you know anything about the dream rave? Because dream rave is a very different part of human design, where we talk basically about the mechanics of sleep, of a dream. And the source of it is that when you sleep, you get the biggest conditioning and you become an animal. And then I have a question. So why do we sleep? And then I have another question. Does everybody sleep? I went online, I started searching, and believe it or not, I discovered that there's this whole movement of sleep deprivation where people just don't sleep. And the reason for them not sleeping is literally to discovering their self. But that's a whole different topic I'm going to address a bit later. Now, another one, the last one, and it's about 2027. In 2027, we're going to shift, not we, it, the program is going to shift from the one set of rules to another set of rules. And in that shift, what's going to happen is that one of the channels is going to kind of break. So we know that channels consist of DNA, amino acid groups, and they are going to detach. So also on the global frequency or level, and also on our chemistry level, there's going to be a really drastic mutation. And we talk about the 1949 channel that connects between the root and solar plexus center. And this is the channel that is a source of everything that has to do with people getting together, with building together the reality, the family, the community, the creating God, nourishing children, animals, getting together, all of that. And what we're here is what we learn from the system, and I'm really simplifying it, making it short and to the point, is that what happens is that we're losing our religions. Da, da, I'm losing my religion. Just like it's already been said even in pop culture. So we're losing religion, the institution breaking down, all of that. But what we're not addressing much is the topic of food, because Ra was slightly mentioning that our diet will lighten up. And that's all he said about it, or at least that's what I heard. Please share your thought if you have something else. But that's what was his message, that will be mostly vegetarian, the raves all will be vegetarian, and all of that, which I don't think it will. By the way, I think it's going to be really, really different. But that's the topic for another story. I think the most of what I shared with you here with my human design perspective is moving slightly into my own process, because this thing with 1949 which I have, by the way, in my chart defined, brings me to a different reality even before I knew what human design is. And I want to share with you my own process, my own practice, what I've been going through, and actually my crazy finds, because I have been interested in the body process, in the body mutation, in checking what is the body for many, many years. I went through a big scale of the trial and error, and of experiments and of extremes of how I used my body. Being an open sacral, definitely didn't know what enough is enough, overdid everything you can do, and looking for that equilibrium, for that perfect balance between things. So I've always been in practice. When I came into human design, I've already been years and years in quite hardcore practices. Needless to say, yoga, qigong, meditation, classic threesome. I lived in Israel. I lived in Israel for 20 years. I studied Kabbalah, which was very mental and gave me a lot of insights, but that's been sitting on the couch and watching videos. Along with that, I lived a couple of years in India, some of that time in the ashram, obviously studying Vedic stuff. I lived in the Mayan community for 10 years, where I was exposed, obviously, to all the shamanic world with everything included. I'm not even going into details. Everything you imagine happened, and even more. And that's the very short version of what I did. In 2009, which only yesterday I realized was 2009 was my Saturn return. So it exactly was on the year of my Saturn return. A year before, in 2008, I was in India at the time, and one really magical situation happened. I had a clinic there. And I not only live like a tourist, and the guru, this, what you call it? Doesn't matter. I worked there, okay, with my ex-husband. He was a chiropractor. We had a clinic. I did all the work. And so one day the guy comes. And he's been a really, really nice, interesting guy. And he's like, okay, guys, you want to kind of meet later, maybe in the evening? And we met and we had a nice chat. And he tells us a story that I don't even remember details of the story, but it ended with him recommended us the book. And the book is called Living on Light. And by somebody with weird name that we didn't even remember. And that was it. Because I lived there, I had like this clinic, everything. It was like having life, We went to a library. There was a library. So we go to the library, and there was this whole, thing in Russian, because this Russian is my mother tongue, apparently. And I pick up an interesting book. It's called Pranic Nourishment. And I take it. I start reading it, and I have the mind-blowing realization. That's exactly the book the guy talked yesterday. Only it's a different name. Why? Because when they translate books, apparently they give different names. So, long story short, it took me 1 year to prepare. And after that preparation, I basically went on prana. So at that time, that was the name of it, pranic nourishment. And what the message was that the humans are way more developed than animals. So with the power of our mind and the awareness of our body, we're able to live without food, without liquids, and be happy forever. Just kidding, you live a normal life. Just life is very different, not on the external, but the way you see life from inside is very different. And this thing just made me so excited, like I never been so excited in my life. Nothing in my life made me more excited than this idea that I can be absolutely free for everything. Because obviously at that time I was exposed to all these, apocalyptic things, and I don't want to look for food. I don't want to fight for food, and all that. I want to be free from this stuff. So it's been a journey, and I went on this journey, and it's been, to this day, one of the most incredible experiences, if not the most incredible experience in my life. It's lasted around 9 months that I did not consume any solid food, but I did drink, and I even diluted some juice and the plasma from the milk, buttermilk, I think it's called, which today I recognize was a big mistake. Because of the bacterial and the gut and everything included. And, and in the end of this process, why this actually ended, guess why it's ended? Because I went to live in this community. And what binds us as people in the community, obviously, is food. So being pranic and living on light and being around people who eat 3 times a day together, hold hands around their food and sing mantras and then sharing and want to try this one, it's simply impossible. If you think it's possible, it's not. It's just not. So I've chose between understand. Just a second. Yeah, so I chose to be with people, of course. I'm like a proper projector, and I don't regret a single time. One, and second, I was not ready for prana at all. I know it. And what happens now is that I realize it's time. I really realize it's time. And I want to share with you this possibility. I don't want you to do it because most likely you're not ready mentally, first of all. But maybe you are, and you want to know more, because I am so ready to talk about it. I've been on this process, lightening my diet for a long time already. Even in Italy, I succeeded not to finish my pizzas. And by the way, everything is shifting. So if, when was it, like almost 20 years ago, yeah, 2008, now it's 25, 17 years ago. Yeah, so 17 years ago, the field was different. The Schumann resonance was different. Our cells vibrated in a very, very different frequency. Now everything is easier, everything is lighter. So once you get in tune, once you understand your mechanics, you can just go. And that's the thing, that before what we did, and there was another mistake of mine, that I did a lot of cleanses, like Praksalanas, enemas, mono, raw, whatever you want, all of that. It took me a year to prepare, with like a serious preparations, dry fasting, week fasting, monthly fasting, like all of these things. And I was very, very religious in it. Now nothing like this is needed anymore. You can switch on prana from eating meat like that. You don't need to lighten up. You don't need this. This is one thing. Another thing, what is important for me also to share, is that it's not really prana, because prana is inside and is outside. It is chi, it is energy, it is libido, yeah, in Greek. It is jiva in Slavic. It has many names. Life force. We can just call it life force. Everything is life force. People who eat, they also nourished with a life force simultaneously with food. It's not the big deal. The big deal here is, what is the state of being that we are approaching this state? So in my practice, of course, yeah, being part of the community of people like this, because I'm not alone in this, is the word that is used for this process is autonomy. It's to be autonomous, to be self-sufficient, autonomous. And it's interesting because I was really attracted to this term, autonomy, when I discovered conspiracies. Because in the conspiracies teach us that there are these people who manage you and the governments and beyond the governments and blah, blah, blah. And then there are these other people who teach you to be autonomous, who teach you to be sovereign. And all you need to do is to write your constitution, to send it to Vatican, to London, and to New York or Washington or whatever, and you are free. You don't have to pay taxes. You don't have to, do all of that. You are a free being. And I wasn't this as well, of course, yeah, because it's very attractive thing to think that you can be free by writing letters and sending them by mail. But in reality, in my reality, it's not something that gives a real freedom. And the real freedom is a freedom from the personality, is a freedom from the idea of who I am, is a freedom from anything external, not shaking me. And this is another practice that I want to share with you. That is my most, since I understood properly what is to be emotional, and I'm triple emotional. I have 3 channels defining my emotional center and nothing else in my body graph. I realized I'm not going to give my waves to navigate my life. So my practice is watching this chemistry when it goes up, it either spikes, yeah, because I have 22, so sometimes it's like, yeah, it's just stillness and not letting go too much, yeah, and there are practices for it. Simple practices, obvious, they're obvious. You work with the mind and work with breath, yeah, and work with the body. And all of those together, just like making these processes much faster so I can act from my clarity and not from this movement, of I am so choiceless. I am in the low part of my wave. I cannot do anything. No, it's not happening in my life, If I gotta do something, I'm gonna do it, and I'm not gonna use my design to justify my weakness, because that's a weakness, That's how I see it, in me at least. I don't know about you, but in me, I totally recognize this kind of behavior as not masterful, So design in many ways can be used as justification for our weaknesses. And it's very easy to talk about it in other people, but are you noticing it in yourself? That's a question that is really good to ask yourself. That should be your biggest mantra. Yeah, but to me, it's something I discovered very much. So about the autonomy and how this terminology has been evolving in me, because from this autonomy from the matrix, I realized I need to be autonomous from myself, from Julia, from personality, from passenger, from anything, being just this vessel that the inside and the outside are slowly dissolving, and I'm being a filter of this life. And that's my goal. That's literally my goal, to be the pure filter of this life as it is. Being life, watching itself through it. It's the most fascinating journey. And even though I travel most of the year, I can say that the biggest trips I have are right here on this cushion in my house, where I spend least time, but the most profound time. the most incredible journeys when I'm in my aura, just being, observing little things happen. Like a couple of days ago, the bird came in the room. I was like, kept me speechless and breathless for I don't know how much, because sometimes I can sit and just for like, I'll sit for a couple of seconds and then I see it and the hours are gone. Sometimes the opposite, I was like, oh my God, I sit too long and see like just 5 minutes passed. This quantum space of time, as I was mentioning before, is constantly changing. Yeah, so the practice of autonomy is a practice of what it is to be a pure vessel, so life can watch itself through it. And my first trial in 2008 was there, and it's been incredible. And now it took a different stage. I'm basically not eating and not drinking for almost several weeks. I almost didn't lose weight. I'm also practicing the sleep deprivation, and I totally believe, obviously, third line body, my experiments with body are imprinted in my designs, so there's no contradiction there. But I see that in my community of people like this, they're all types, they're all profiles, they're all kinds of design. And what Ra was saying, that when you start living yourself, your design is not important anymore. What stays is just your cross. And your cross is a frequency. It's not the mission in terms like, tell me what my mission, I'm gonna go and sign up for the course you tell me to sign up, to get that profession. It's not. It's not. Our mission is to be who we are. What it is that wants to flow through us. There is everything that flows, but what is there in the resonance? And to feel that resonance, we need to be empty. What Ra was saying very, very clearly is that food is the biggest conditioning of all. Yes, people as well. Yes, space as well. Yes, transits as well. Yes, cycles as well. Yes, 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 all of that as well. But what you do on a daily basis is that you put stuff in your body that changes your chemistry. And your own chemistry is the biggest conditioning of force that there is. So what I'm doing is I'm living the experiment, human design experiment, and checking how it is to live without the conditioning chemistry. And then, of course, there are many other levels that I'm revealing. I'm revealing the level where I realize that who is that I, that realizes that most of the food, now I started saying, and I remembered one of my clients with whom I work with DDP, with the differentiation program, the deeper program where I'm taking people, on the journey of processing their bodies, their health, what we call the substructure. And she told me one incredible thing that you may resonate with. She says, I actually realized in this process that I'm never hungry when I eat, that I actually don't know what is to be hungry. And do you know what is to be hungry? So there are 3 levels of hunger. First is this habitual, your Pavlov dog hunger. Oh, it's time to eat kind of hunger. It's like, oh, I'm in a new place, emotional, all of that. You can put it in there, this kind of habit. Most of the food that you eat, it's not the food, it's a painkiller. You're killing your pain. You're covering your pain with food. Because when we are eating, we become numb. It literally numbs our nervous system. And when the nervous system is numb, it's really, really hard to be ourselves. We can do trillions of things, but if you know this, like, oh, why to go somewhere? Is there a cushion? Yeah, something like that. Easy, just as easy. If you're, of course, listening to the body. So all of that is the first level of hunger. Then second level of hunger, when your body starts, thank you. Thank you, Mariana. And second level of hunger, when you start hearing your tummy. When you didn't eat for some time and you skipped your habit state, then you're like, oh, my belly is calling, it's making sounds. Maybe I should eat. This is not when you should eat. That's when the intestines are cleaning themselves. That's a really good stage to let it be. So when you hear your belly coo, 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 let it do the work. A very, very important stage. And then after that stage comes a real hunger. Yeah, we call it like a wolf hunger. The wolf hunger, when you just cannot not eat. When you cannot not eat, that's when you eat. And now ask yourself, have you ever reached that last stage to eat? It can really surprise you when you see, because most of us living in this abundance never even reach this state. This is incredible thing to watch. So there is another thing, talking about hunger. Yeah, I was thinking, like, isn't this amazing that the first sin of humanity is eating an apple or whatever it was. Somebody says it's been a different fruit. Doesn't matter. We're not gonna go. We say, okay, the first thing we do when we are born, we take a breath, and then we go to mother's chest and receive a boob. So breathing, smelling, and then eating. And in our triangle of cognitive architecture, if you're acquainted with the substructure of human design, which shows us the mechanics of our sensory abilities, that's what we have. The first tone is smelling, second tone is tasting. It goes exactly by the evolution, let's say. And that's what happens. So I know that when I am hungry, I use smells. And in the good years, when I owned a business that had to do with natural cosmetics, I actually created the kits for. It was actually sold for women who want to lose weight, and they had these essential oil blends, and each blend was like different meal, and they had combinations of essential oils of different foods, spices, and so on. And when they smell them, it was substituting the food. And just like that air can nourish us, the trees get their strength, their weight, not from soil, from the ground, but from air with CO2 there. And it's also scientifically proven. Yeah, it's like I don't drink, but I go to pee because through the skin, we're flying here, flying and swimming in the sea. There's tons of water in the air, and this water is also nourishing us. All we can do is take it or not take it. And when we're taking it, we don't need to take it from anywhere else. We can be literally self-sufficient in that. And that is the path of the autonomy, is the path where you become self-sufficient. And I'm definitely not there yet, but I know that this is my goal. And if you resonate with me, talk with me, obviously I can support you because I have so much already. It's like 17 years of aiming into that direction. I'm a quadrite. I'm not a person, I'm not a goal achiever, and goal setter. It's not for me. I just know what is the perfect state. And every step is step of either forward or back, or forward or back. But I cannot stop. You cannot stop because there is the nature of reality is movement. So either we are moving forward or back or to the sides, but it's also not forward. So that is the process. Yeah, this is the process of eternal movement forward. And the goal is how to get there is to literally change the rules inside, because everything you think you believe can be questioned, even to the foundations like that, even to the foundations of, do I really need to eat? Do I really need to drink? Do I really need to breathe? There are yogis out there doing these things for centuries. And we need those to balance the frequency in the world. And that's why there is more. As of today, there are thousands of people who live this lifestyle. Thousands, can you believe it? The thousands of them. And you will not hear about it a lot. I'm also not going to talk too much about it, believe me. I just have this inspiration to share all of it at once with you. And I've been preparing for this life. And it's really changing the game, because there are different questions that you can ask. For example, every non-sacral being has a very mechanically justified question: where to get the energy? Yeah, even some sacral people, who don't live, which is most of us. There's a beautiful question. I will answer it in a moment. Yeah, so where to take energy? Also, generators are asking. And what I am offering you is to shift the focus, from where to take the energy to where to give the energy, or to whom to give the energy. And this is the point that exactly clashes with the human design main thing, be focused on yourself, and it's all about yourself, and it's me, 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 because it's not. There is no me. There is no all of that story. But it's just words, what I'm saying, if it's not experience for you. Because we cannot be ruled just by morals. It's not about morals and ethics. It's about a simple understanding that we can give each other a life. I cannot be on my autonomy without making love to my man. It's a part of the very healthy energy exchange. It's also part of it. I have a really, really beautiful question here. How did you go through the third wolf hunger without satisfying it? Sometimes I don't, but I want to share. This really brings me to something really crazy. In that book that I read 17 years ago, there was one sentence, that really caught me, because I couldn't understand it, but I knew that this sentence has a key for me. And it was, if you still want to eat, enjoy it until you can, because soon you will not be able to. And I was like, what do you mean? And at that time I lived in India, so I was celebrating life with all the tastes. And actually, I didn't go too much to restaurants. I was cooking myself, but I used all of the spices and all those local fruits and vegetables. It was a taste celebration. And but I keep this sentence all these years in my mind, and I'm checking and I'm seeing that indeed the taste is changing, and it becomes less and less and less mentally and emotionally satisfying. That's how I would call it. So from there, I am in this observation. And my practice is when I go wherever and there is food, is to ask myself, is this food? Is this food? So I go to bakery. Actually, it's funny because believe it or not, I was on a MasterChef program. They invited me. I didn't even know it exists. I lived without TV my whole life, but they found me on Facebook and invited me to participate. It's like a cooking show, and they had this thing, and they brought the pita, this Israeli bread, or actually Middle Eastern, because pita also comes from, I think it actually comes from Arabic countries and Turkey or wherever. And they say, what is pita for you? And all other participants were like, oh, this is my childhood, this is my memories, this is our nation, this is this, this is that. And I'm like, this is white flour, white sugar, yeast, and chemical salt. That's what it is for me. And so every time I enter bakery and I see these beautiful things, they're like little statues in the souvenir shop for me. I mean, I can try one maybe when I go to Italy and everybody's, wow, I will try, or Greece, they have these five bakeries in one street. I will try, but not more than that. It's like, it's not food. So most things I see, they're already not food for me. There's something different. And how can I put things that are not food in my temple, in my sacred body? I don't know, somebody entered. I'll stop the video. So that is another thing, yeah, that I'm just not treating most of things as food. So what can actually nourish me? What can actually nourish me is not food. What nourishes me right now is talking to you. I am imagining you can be, yeah, I'm here on Instagram, I'm here on Facebook, I'm on Zoom, there are people everywhere, I'm talking to the imaginary you, whoever you are, and just the fact of it nourishes me right now. And when I know how to navigate this energy inside my body, I am nourished. I don't need nothing else. There is one part of it, yeah, is to navigating the nervous system and other systems together, because our mind is our best friend. And if we're not friends with the mind, if we're blaming the mind and we're not listening to it, yeah, I say it myself in the readings, don't listen to your mind. Because to say listen to your mind, enter into dialogue with your mind, go into the source of your mind, it's a very complex thing. It's very, very deep and complex thing to say. To not to say, to implement. And implementation of this literally takes time. And most of us live in the illusion that we do not have time. So we simply ignore it and we say, don't listen to it, even though we can listen to it. We just don't act on it. But if we listen to it properly and go from the gross levels of the conditioned, not our own mind, into subtler levels, we can discover this shining, incredible being that can just show us worlds, that can take us to these worlds and make us part of these worlds that we don't know exist. And that's the ultimate mind, the ultimate intelligence, the cosmic intelligence. And it is all there. And when you really clean your vessel, you discover it's always been there. It's there right now. It's just it. It can never go away. It just can be covered with many, many, many layers, but it cannot go away. It's always with us, and it always will be with us. So another thing that I want to say regarding this question is that I completely eliminate the fasting thing from the mind. There's no such thing as fasting. No, it doesn't exist, okay? Because fasting means in the head depriving yourself from something. We're going in a totally different direction. We're not depriving. If I want to eat something, I eat something. And I know I will eat, because I'm still not ready to declare, I am like this and that. I'm sharing with you my process. And it's important for me really to say that. I'm just discovering and I'm sharing with you my steps. I'm not sure I will share more, because it's very intimate, it's very vulnerable, it's very sensitive for me to show up like this and share it with you. But I feel very important. It's very important for me to do it, to release, so there is space for more. And that's how it works. I release, and then there is space, make space, and the more is coming. And because I have so much experience with that in the past, with doing a lot of detoxes and this and this and that, and then seeing that in the long run, a lot of it was very traumatic for my mind and for the body, yeah, for all kinds of things. I'm not doing it anymore. But what I am doing is I'm opening possibilities. I'm exposing myself to people who already done that. I know that in this time, in this reality, there are tons of communities of people who are autonomous. And those people make babies. And these children are autonomous. And their animals are autonomous. And it's happening. I literally know someone. She gave birth to 3 children on autonomy. But not only that, all 3 children were born in the same day because she wanted to. She was like, why don't we do that? And that's the power of mind, because the mind is the biggest force. And so in my process, I'm realizing more and more that the body is also the mind. And when we navigate our mind, we can clearly shape our body to whatever we want. That's how our body becomes a product of our mind. Yeah, it's like this. So there are much more that I could share with you. But I'm also a little bit getting tired to talk. I already was talking like 3 hours in the morning with all these sessions and meetings and everything. If there are any questions, I might invite you to write them. And if not, maybe I'll start wrapping up and I'll tell you thank you. Thank you for being with me. And yeah, thank you also for being here. It's really precious to be able to share things like this from my cave, where I spend most of my time. And I wish you to revise your own rules, your own beliefs, your own visions. What do you think? How do you think? And do you believe what you think? Do you really believe it? And oh, Itara, thank you. Thank you so much for the beautiful messages. Thank you, Natalia. Oh, it's so good to see you here. I've been following you as well, by the way. Yes, yes. Yeah. So thanks, everyone. It's really good to share. It kind of encourages me maybe to do it more, but not too often. We'll see. Thank you all. Love you.